Coming up on the Racing Insiders, we look at the Sebring testing, what drivers are going to be going through. We find out from a guy who's done it before. He's going to bring us up to speed on what's happening this weekend. We look at accidents that have happened. We hear about Mimo Gidley recovering from his bad accident at Daytona, and we'll talk to a guy who trains drivers to avoid just that kind of accident. We'll look at the American Rally Championship in Missouri at the 100-Acre Wood Rally, and we'll talk to a guy who's run that event, but he's going to be going to the World Rally Championship stage later this year. And also, are you kidding me? What's going on in our minds? Coming up on the Racing Insiders. Welcome back to the Racing Insiders, presented by GoPro. This is the only place in broadcasting where you're going to get sports car content every week. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Jeff Lepper is in Folsom, California. Jeff, the Sebring test is going on as we speak. It's going to be a major test because the Grand Am was dominant at Daytona. Now, Sebring is a place where the ALMS might have some dominance. Do you think that's going to happen? Are we going to see that like the P2 cars in front of the DP cars at Sebring this weekend?
Well, the P2 cars have an extensive notebook they can go back and look at. They can know what they're going to need to change, what they're going to need to do. If you're a Daytona prototype car, you have nothing. So you're going to be developing your notebook at this test.
These notebooks are extremely important just to know where to start. If you know to start at 0.7 instead of 0.6, you have an advantage over everybody else, right?
Oh, I think so. I mean, when I ran there, it was more of what you got to be focused on. And I think as a driver, you got to, and never being there, you got to really be focused on what the nuances are of this track. This is a very old World War II airplane runway with a racetrack built around it. So there's a lot of bumps there. They say a 12-hour at Sebring is like a 24-hour anywhere else, where a lot of teams will stay and run another 12 hours on Monday morning. I think we'll see that again. But from the driver's side, you need to know where to turn in. If you turn in too early and you hit a bump, that might shove you out to the outside or make your car spin out. So you really got to learn where to go. We don't really focus too much on tire temps there. I know from my standpoint, because of the different surfaces, their tire temperatures are going to vary. You really focus on what your shock settings are and what your spring settings are. And like we mentioned before, the P2 cars will definitely have an advantage doing that.
Now, I've never raced at Sebring like you have, but as an observer, I've been told that the exit to 17 is the most important part of the racetrack. That's a very fast entry, can be a slow exit, but getting out of there as fast as you can means that you're setting up momentum for the rest of the racetrack. Am I right in that?
Oh yeah, after you come across the start-finish straight, go down into turn number 1, that's all flowing all the way till you get back to turn number 5. So you really have to not only get your entry into 17 correct, you got to manage all those bumps coming under the bridge, coming out onto the straightaway, and get basically just a slingshot out of that corner to come down that straightaway to set yourself up for the whole lap. You can end every good lap in turn 17, and you can begin every lap there in turn 17.
So what will the drivers be doing in testing? Are they getting ready for, they want to build horsepower? Are they looking for setup, shock settings? You've already mentioned about tires. What are they doing to get ready this weekend?
Well, drivers are going, I think, more on awareness. They're trying to see where all the points are that they can see, look for landmarks, look for marks on the pavement of where I can brake, where I can turn in, get a good line. The engineers, they're worried more about how the car is going to handle, because this is going to be a handling course. Power, what you have is what you have. IMSA has dictated what you're going to have. There's nothing you can change there. It's going to be how you can apply that power to the surface all throughout the entire 12-hour race.
Now, what about the prototypes versus the GT cars, the prototype challenge cars, the slower prototypes against the GT cars? How do they mix into all that stuff? In sports car racing, it's unique in sports car racing to have all these different speed levels going on, but how does that matter in a test session?
I don't think it matters too much in a test session, other than that if you want to get on a flyer lap, you really got to pay attention to where those cars are. You don't want to get out there and try to get your lap and then get held up by a slower GT car if you're in a prototype. Vice versa, if you're in a GT car trying to get down a good lap, you really want to make sure you gap yourself enough that you're not going to have a prototype car come up on you, go into your braking zone, especially when you're working on turn-in or how your car's acting in mid-corner. You want to make sure there's nobody else around you. So it's really a cat and mouse game. Even during testing, you'll see more spotters on the track during testing than you will during the 12-hour race.
So we're going to be seeing numbers, who's fastest, who's slowest, who's not fast, and so forth. Should we pay any attention to those numbers since there's so much going on during these test sessions?
I think you have to pay attention to it from a fan point to know who's going to be quick. I really hope the series doesn't make any adjustments. I think that the cars are pretty balanced. Sebring is another one of those courses, though, that is a point and shoot course similar to Daytona. Horsepower matters at Sebring with that long backstretch going down into turn 17, the long front stretch there coming off of 17. So the cars that have the more power are going to have an advantage, but we'll see how the backside of the course plays through with handling. So I really hope the series leaves the cars alone. Let's let this 12-hour race get out, then let's see how the cars are going to act out here at the end.
Now see, that's good information. That's good content. That's some good meat to chew on. Thanks, Jeff. A guy who's been there, you can't be more inside than a guy who's raced at the track and had some success there. We want to go to Michael Pettiford from the Go For It Racing School, but to find out a little bit more about how to avoid the kinds of accidents at Bathurst 12-hour and at the Rolex 24. Want to report quickly that Mimo Gidley is having great success in his rehabilitation after that accident in the 24 hours at Daytona. It was a terrible accident into the sun, but let's get the latest from Michael Pettiford, the Go For It Racing School. He's the founder and the president. He's also a competitor, raced in World Challenge with you, the Pirelli World Challenge with you, Jeff, in the GTS and the TC categories. Michael, we want to talk to you about some of the accidents that have happened both in Australia at the Bathurst 12-hour and at the Rolex 24 in Daytona. You teach driving. You can't be prepared for something like that, but somehow a driving school has to prepare drivers for everything. How do you do it?
Well, what we do is we try to go over every scenario that we can. I mean, obviously we go over passing exercises in the school. I mean, we teach the students, of course, how to pass under braking, how to share a corner, how to pass on the exits of corners, how to run a defensive line. And one of the big things that we teach also is awareness, not just looking at the first car in front of you, but looking way ahead, way behind, so that you know what's around you all around. Now, in the case of Daytona, that was a case where, I mean, there was almost no way the guy could have seen the car that he was going around. And of course, the guy in the Ferrari was on the left-hand side of the course, you know, limping the car back to the pits. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. And just when he fanned out to make the pass, there the other car was, and there was virtually, I mean, like nothing he really could have done in that instance. Now, in retrospect, if he would have looked way far ahead, and again, I've seen the video, but I wasn't in the car, would it have been possible for him to see way ahead and see a rendering of that car before? That would be the $100 question.
It's also, Michael, that the issue in Daytona, they said, was the sun. How could you prepare for that? There's always, whether you're racing an SCCA amateur, time attack, or something as major as the Rolex 24, you always have to deal with elements like the sun.
Right. I mean, the best combat for that, hopefully you've learned the track enough before the sun is in your eyes, or before, you know, darkness and the track changes, so that you have kind of a feel for the track. Because I mean, even with the best of shading, and you can get special glasses that will filter out, you know, some of the rays, and that will help, you're still going to have dramatic reduced visibility at those times of the day. And compensating for them by knowing the track and maybe not making a move when you can't see, even if, in theory there's an opportunity to do that, would be what I would advise.
Hey Mike, Jeff Lepper here. Looking at the accident from Daytona, to me it looks like an accident. I think the best thing that you could do is prepare yourself as a driver. What are some of the steps you take through your driving school to have the drivers have safety? The Hans, the helmet, the fire suits, the Nomex, the shoes. What do you go through your school?
Oh yeah, I mean, we of course you've got to have a very safe race car. I mean, the race cars today with the cages and the seats and the 6-point belts and the fire systems, and then of course the Hans devices, fire suits, fireproof socks, shoes, gloves. I mean, it's really, really safe. And in impact with all of that, I feel when I'm racing, I feel very secure. I mean, stuff can still happen. I mean, the human body can only take so many instantaneous G's, but the cars that we have now are safer than they've ever been.
So let's go to the Bathurst accident. It was such close racing, but this is, I don't say it's the same thing because the incidences were very different, but it's still an idea of looking down the track, right?
Well, in the Bathurst incident, I mean, what was happening there was one of the cars went off to the right and got into the sand and gravel, and then the visibility was totally obscured, and there was no way to see.
Now that's something, Mike, that you can also translate to road driving for like your defensive driving courses when you get into rain or fog.
Oh, exactly. I mean, we've got one of the best driver's ed programs for teenagers in the country. We've also got a motorcycle program, which obviously you're at a disadvantage on a motorcycle as far as visibility and awareness, and we're constantly working on the 4 types of stopping, proper hand positioning, awareness and decision making, so that you can see these emergencies as they are potentially about to happen, and then you put yourself in a minimal risk or a low risk situation so that you're not even in that vicinity. Now, you can do that on the street, of course, but on the track, competition will demand, if you're going to be passing someone that's turning about the same lap time as you are, you may have to, put yourself in a little bit of harm's way to make the pass.
Mike Pettiford's the Go Forward Racing Schools. How can people get in touch with you?
My phone number is 303-666-4113, or you can visit our website at goforitservices.com, and it's the number 4, not FOR.
Incredible school. It's good to talk to you again. We talked at Long Beach a year or so ago. I want to see you back on the track in the Pirelli World Challenge. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
From driver training to driver success, one of the top rally competitors in North America will be on the World Rally stage this year. We talk with the crazy guy next on the Racing Insiders, presented by GoPro.
This segment of the Racing Insiders was brought to you by GoPro. Be a hero. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders, presented by GoPro. I'm Berwood in Los Angeles. Jeff Lepper is in Folsom, California. Jeff, this is a big weekend for the American Rally Championship. Travis Pastrana is coming back, bringing his 4 championships with him.
It's going to be great to see that. I can't wait to see how this is all going to transpire, especially with we're not sure what's going on with Pastrana and Global Rallycross. This might be the only racing he's doing since he's not in NASCAR either. I want to see how this plays out.
The 100-acre wood rally, I love that event. It's very fast, very high speed. That's the next round, the second round in the American Rally Championship. Let's go to Toronto right now, where Leo Urlichich. His brand is Crazy Leo. He's known globally by that name, but he's crazy like a fox. He's run at the 100-Acre Wood Rally, but now the announcement is he's going to be a part of the World Rally Championship stage in what's called the DMAC Fiesta Trophy Cup. Congratulations, Leo. This is a big step for you.
I do hope that you can hear me well, and it is an amazing place to be. I believe this is the hottest, the best place right now to be in the World Championship, Rally World Championship, unless you're in a factory seat. So it's really an amazing opportunity. Everything was announced only 5 days ago. We got into the cup that's something similar to the Junior World Championship, but it has some amazing competition, and I just can't wait to start.
It's two-wheel drive cars. Now that Citroen has taken over the Junior Academy, the World Rally Championship Academy, Junior WRC, all these cars that were left over for M-Sport, they've got this new program come together. Your experience is with all-wheel drive. You expect any problems with that?
Correct. Obviously, I would have preferred to be in a four-wheel drive car because, like you said, it's the experience, and I do like going faster than your average 170 horsepower car can do, but that's the formula for young guys to get into the sport. It's obviously very cost effective, and it's not only the car, it's the team. And the first year or two in WRC, it's all about learning. It's all about getting experience. It's all about really making pace notes as well. So that car is plenty for that. It's a very proven, sorted car. So while you kind of relearn another new thing, I'm quite happy with the car Ford's providing, and it should be more than good enough for the first year.
So Leo, with this contest, what sort of format do they have with it? I know that it does start at the Rally Portugal.
The first round is in Portugal. The Drive Mac Fiesta Trophy happens over 5 rounds in the World Championship this year. And one of the amazing things about this trophy is the prize. The prize is actually a fully funded ride in an R5 Fiesta next year with M-Sport, which is one of the fastest cars out there. And once you've signed up or were chosen for the Cup, you do have to do all 5 rounds. So Portugal is the first one, and then we kind of keep going along the way. And the winner takes.
Leo, you're the oldest guy in this round. You're 28. That's not going to be a problem, is it?
Yeah, well, Bill, you and I are not talking about it for the first time. You know my stance. I'm going there with no front-wheel drive experience, no experience or knowledge of WRC roads. So going there very humble and just trying not to embarrass us. You know, I'm the only guy from North or South America. So just hoping I'm not dead last. But realistically, first year has to be about getting experience. Having said that, of course, I'm going to give it my 200% in terms of preparation, in terms of fitness, in terms of co-driver, in terms of what I learned about the car beforehand. So we're going to do everything we can and see where we end up.
Crazy Leo Urlichich. Leo Urlichich, congratulations. Team O'Neill Rally School is supporting him in this effort. That'll be on the side of the car in the DMAC Fiesta Trophy Cup starting at the WRC round in Portugal next month.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Jeff, what's on your mind?
Well, I got to go with all the different news press releases. I mean, Ryder Engineering is coming to Rally World Challenge with 2 Lamborghini Gallardos, V8 supercars, Volvo's entering it with the Polestar racing team. So they're going to have 2 Volvo V8s coming out. There's a great YouTube clip of the sound of that V8 engine. Lucas Ordonez, we said it last week, he's going to be driving the Ziad RC Nissan at Le Mans. He's also competing full-time now in Super GT in the GT300 class. We got all sorts of different press releases going on. I can't even know where to turn to or what to do on what's going on. I mean, are you kidding me right now? There's so much going on.
It is crazy. I'm getting stuff every day that says, I didn't know that. My Are You Kidding Me is from Andrew Brilliant, an aerodynamicist in Yokohama, Japan, works in the Super GT series along with IndyCar and Grand Am and ALMS, uses programming that's the same as the Red Bull uses in F1. But we were laughing. I mentioned to him in a long conversation, what do you look for first? Do you look for horsepower? Do you look for class designation? Do you look for wheelbase? Do you look for tracks? What do you look for first? And he said the first thing that he looks for is who's going to build the car. He said that's more important than anything. If you give them a rocket ship formula and all they know how to do is build paper airplanes, you're in trouble. He had to pick me up off the floor. I had no idea that it was that basic, but he said aerodynamics is so important that they won the World Time Attack Challenge in the Nemo Racing Evo. They won that with only 500 horsepower, but they had 9,000 plus downforce, pounds of downforce, more than the old GTP Toyota that Gurney Racing used to have. Are you kidding me? Aerodynamics is that important. Welcome back to the Racing Insiders presented by GoPro. This is what's going on the racing calendar this weekend. We've got the Sebring Test that's happening. We talked about that earlier. We'll have reports from Sebring, from Peter Keane, who's there with Spirit of Daytona. And we'll have the 100-acre Wood Rally, second rally in the American Championship. It's also the place where Travis Pastrana is going to return to the championship, where he won 4 straight titles. That's what's going on this weekend. Jeff, what are you going to be doing this weekend?
Well, I'm going to get my first taste behind the wheel this new year. Going to go run an autocross at Oakland Coliseum, so that's going to be fun to go do. And I haven't decided which car to take yet, but either way, if it's raining, I'll take the all-wheel drive R32 Volkswagen. If it's not, I might even pull out our little Honda Fit. Who knows? We'll see what happens this weekend.
Is that Mustang ready yet?
No. We got a long way to go on the Mustang.
I'm going to be paying attention to the 100-acre Wood Rally, following my friends Lachlan O'Sullivan and Scott Putnam, the 2012 champions, and what's going to be happening with Travis Pastrana as he comes back. Make sure he's always had bad luck. The last time he was there in 2011, a one-off, he got one turn into the first stage and rolled the car. But that's Travis. Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. Want to see you again next week. Take care of each other and respect each other. For Jeff Lepper in Folsom, California, I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.